This pattern is from the Fat Quarter shop, and it's a free download. There's a link to the download in the description below the video. If you're having trouble getting to the description, because sometimes there's nothing there that says description, so click up above on this link and it'll show you exactly how to get there. So this is part of the Fat Quarter Shop's shortcut series, which means it's easy and fast quilt to make. And this quilt has really big pieces, and you can start from layer cakes or any 10-inch squares, so you can buy a package or cut your own. I use the AccuQuilt sometimes to cut my own 10-inch squares, and then I just have layer cake squares to use whatever I need. This is from a layer cake collection called Jardin de Fleurs. I'm really butchering that French, but I think it's Jardin de Fleurs. And there's also a link in the description to where you can purchase this layer cake set. And also you can take, the Fat Quarter Shop has special cuts special to them called Jolly Bars. And what it is, it's a half of a layer cake. It's half of a 10-inch square. So if you take a 10-inch square and you cut it in half, you'll have 2 Jolly Bars. So because when you start this quilt, you're going to take your layer cakes, and these will be the accent fabrics, and then I have my background fabric, and then you'll cut your background fabric into, they're almost squares, but they're rectangles, and the instructions tell you what size and how many of these you need to cut. So to make this, you're going to take your layer cake and just cut it in half. So it is now a 5 by 10 piece of fabric, and you're going to do that with all of your layer cakes, or all that you need. You look in the instructions, it'll tell you how many you need for this quilt. And then once you do that, you're going to take 2 of these pieces and sew them together, just like this. And you're going to sew them along the long side, and then press your seam to one side. Once you've sewn all of your rectangles together in pairs and pressed to one side, you're going to cut out your background fabric. And I used, here I used a solid color, but I've also used lighter prints. So you want something that coordinates with your layer cake design. Then we're going to pay attention now to how we put these on here, because this is not exactly a square now, and neither is this, because we have our seam. So you're going to lay these right sides together like this. Once you have these layered right sides together and all the edges are even, you're going to stitch in 2 places, and take care that you are stitching in the right place. You'll want to stitch across this way and across this way, and you're stitching perpendicular to this stitch. Don't stitch parallel to them, you want to stitch perpendicular. So here it's the top and the bottom. If you always lay it like this with the vertical seam, then you always stitch the top and the bottom. Now this set of accent fabrics is stitched onto a background fabric, and here's the stitching, the top and the bottom. And we're going to cut this in half now. And here again, you need to go parallel to the stitching you just did. Put it on the 5-inch mark and then cut across. Then when you open this up, you have 2 blocks like this, and press either direction that you want. I always press toward the accent fabrics, or you can press the seams open. So here's what they look like after they're pressed. These are 2 other ones. Now I'll show you how to sew them into rows. The instructions on page 2 show you how to make, you're going to make 9 rows total, and you're going to make 5 like this. And you start with the accent fabric here on the left, and then the accent fabric is down, and then left, down, left, down, left. And you go that way all across. Then you make 5 of those rows. The next ones you're going to start with the accent fabric down at the bottom, and then on the left, down, left, down, left. And you'll make 4 of those rows and sew them together. I've made about 5 quilts from this pattern, and it's really fun and easy to do, and I like working with the big pieces. Most all of the quilts I've made have been using layer cake sets, but it's also great as a scrap quilt where I like to keep the background one fabric and make everything else scrappy. So you'll cut your rectangles and then use them that way. And it really looks nice as a quilt of valor. So the next I'm going to show you some pictures of the ones I've made in the past. And now the pictures are not very good quality, but you can see the difference in all of the different fabrics you choose. And be sure to check the description in the video below the video and for all the resources you have, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.